wanted to make a quick video today going over similar to a post that I made on Monday a few days ago about just because you are eating more calories and you're in a surplus doesn't necessarily mean that you will gain fat. What you could actually do is give yourself enough calories to build muscle and actually shed fat. So for this example right here, let's say that our maintenance calories are 2,000, a slight surplus would be 2,200, and a slight deficit would be 1,800. We could even add on to this and say that a excessive surplus would be at 2,400 and an excessive deficit would be at 1,600. Just a reminder, this is a general kind of example. Your maintenance might be more than 2,000 calories. It might be below 2,000 calories. This is simply just an example. In general, where we typically want to be is in the bolded green area. We want to be in a slight surplus, or we want to be at maintenance, or we want to be in a slight deficit. If we're going into the excessive surplus or the extreme deficit range, that would be where weight gain that we don't necessarily want could take place. So if I'm eating a certain percentage or too many calories, I could start to gain fat. If I'm eating in extreme deficit, I could start to lose fat, but it'd also be hard to maintain muscle, have a nice, steady, long fat loss phase, which is in another video that I've previously made. And again, this is just an example, but let's just assume that for this example that these are maintenance calories that you're at, and this would be a slight surplus or a slight deficit, that you are just starting either a build phase or a burn phase. And you would add these calories or lower to these calories in order to just start off on that phase. Obviously, if I'm, trying to build more, I'm trying to burn more, I might have to knock the calories down a little bit as time goes on, as my metabolism starts to adapt. Now, if I'm going into a build phase, in the slight surplus, which is exactly where you want to be, which is italicized and underlined, that's the area that you will go to in order to build muscle and possibly shed fat. And the reason that is because you're giving your body enough energy, a slight surplus, in order to build lean muscle mass. We know from, science, research, previous videos I've talked about this, that a slight surplus, giving your body the ability to build muscle, can actually increase your metabolism. So if I'm at this slight surplus, a few things can happen. I can increase muscle mass, which will increase metabolism, which can shed fat. And the reason that is because when I increase my muscle mass, my metabolism then increases. If my metabolism increases and my body is burning hotter, I will then burn more calories, which can possibly shed fat as you start to build muscle. We can also take this another step further, that as I start to build lean muscle, I can actually start to increase my calories, because if I have more muscle, my body's metabolism increase, so I need to eat more calories in order to maintain that muscle mass. So my slight surplus can go from being 2,200 calories, and that can go up to 2,300 calories. And then what we can do is we can actually increase all these numbers. So my maintenance is now more, since my surplus is more, my deficit is now more, my extreme deficit, which we don't want to go to those red areas anyway, is more, and I actually forgot to change this one, my excessive surplus would actually be higher. So by giving myself a slight surplus, increasing calories, increasing muscle mass, which will increase my metabolism, which can shed fat by the way of increasing the metabolism and having the body use that energy to build muscle, I've actually now taken all of my numbers and increased them. Now, what that does is now gives me the ability to eat more without gaining fat, and it also gives myself more room, more bandwidth that I can use when I go into a burn phase. This is why I always say that the analogy, we can't take down or burn or destroy something that's not there. We have to build it up first and then kind of tear it down, because make no mistake about it, as I decrease my calories and I go into a burn, I try to, shed fat and everything while I maintain muscle mass, your metabolism as a byproduct of that will decrease. But if I can work on building that up, work on building lean muscle mass, I can increase the room. I can now increase my maintenance. I can increase my slight surplus. I can now bring up my deficit. So when I do start to decrease calories, start to try to shed some pounds, it's smoother. I'm able to eat more food and burn more fat. I have a bigger base to pull from, so I don't have to go down as far. You can see it's now my extreme deficit is down at 1,700 calories, which is a lot easier to eat than 1,600 calories. And we could even keep going on this and turn this into 18, turn this into 2,000, turn this into 2,200, all as a byproduct by simply eating more calories as well. However, there is a caveat to that as I increase calories, I do give my body more energy and everything that I just talked about for the last 4 or 5 minutes. However, you must strength train, you must follow a progressive overload, you must be consistent, and you must do this for months and months for it to be worth it in the end, for you to have a nice long burn phase. Because if I simply increase calories without actually, strength training or putting those calories, to work, or following, progressive overload, which is where I'm lifting more weight and building more muscle, and I'm being consistent with that, and I'm doing it for months and months at a time, not just a month or two, then you will gain fat. Those extra calories won't go to actually build something. However, if I'm doing all of those things, I'm giving my body a little bit of a slight surplus in calories, I'm strength training, I'm following the progressive overload program, I'm consistent with it, you will gain muscle, increase metabolism, have all the benefits that I said before, and you will actually love the way that you look, because that's how you get toned, that's how you shed fat, that's how you have a nice, tight glutes, legs, arms, and midsection, and that is really the pathway to achieving not only, how you look, but also how you feel as well. All right, if you guys like this video and you found it informative and everything, please comment on it, what kind of content or what, could be strength training, nutrition, lifestyle, what kind of topics you want me to dive into next as well.